Emmet, if you don't mind, just firstly take us back to last year and the greatest moments of your young training career when Noble Yeats won the Randox Grand National. What exactly are your memories of that day, almost 12 months on?
It was a funny one. I was pretty relaxed on the day, I suppose. I think I remember going to get the saddle off Sam. He was probably waiting there quite a while, ready to weigh out, and I might have sauntered up a bit late and got the saddled him up in the stable yard. He's fairly alert, as we see here today, but just trying to keep a lid on him before the race is the main part, and then trying to keep him engaged during the race is a bit harder to do. But no, it was a special day. Did you go there with any preconceived ideas? I mean, were you determined to enjoy the whole occasion first and foremost? Yeah, no, exactly. Definitely first runner in the National was always going to be a big occasion, an enjoyable day for me. I suppose I don't get too stressed or too worried. I'd enjoy it regardless beforehand anyway. But no, we were fairly quietly confident. And that was going to be my next question. He was a 50-1 shot. How much better a chance realistically did you think he had than those odds might have suggested? It's a funny one. I think he was 16-1 at the entry stage, or 16s or 20s when he was in Paul Byrne's colours, and with the change of owners at Whaley Cohen's, getting involved was great, but I think people maybe didn't latch on to the fact that I was selling him what I thought was a national winner, and thankfully was proved right. Talk to me about the race itself. What was it like following him on the way round? Was it hard to pick him out at times, or were you always kind of happy with what you were seeing? I was happy enough for the first lap. Maybe the first round down to the canal turn, until I figured out I was watching the wrong horse. So then it was watching it live. It was a bit muddling there at times. I couldn't really distinguish how we were going or where we were for a bit. But once you get over the chair, Sam got a great run up the inside of Sam Crow, got over the chair and got over the water, and just heading out in that second circuit, he was just in a position where you just think, past years winners come from this position, and I think that was the first blow I took anyway. First chance I thought where this could happen. Just describe the feeling when he crossed the line in front. I mean, you in your days riding won at the Cheltenham Festival, and you've trained big winners, as I say, in what's already been a successful career, but just how different was that moment? Very, I suppose, yeah. Up to that, the biggest thrill or kick I'd got in my life was the shunter win at the festival. Even though I was on my own in the stands, the year of COVID, there was no spectators, but this was different, and I managed to I was in the stands and amongst people, but got away on my own, and I don't think anyone really had any idea. So I was able to come down off the stands, exit stage right, and I was waiting at the top of the hill while everyone was looking out on the track for the horse to come in. So I was able to gather my composure a bit and wait for the horse to come back. Obviously Aintree would have been very, very different. What was it like in the aftermath of the race? Did it kind of start to hit you pretty much straight away when everybody all of a sudden wanted a piece of Emmet Mullins? I suppose it's a bit surreal at the time, and you don't fully comprehend what's after happening, and possibly still haven't. There were some great shots of the celebrations here locally as well, the horse being paraded, etc. I mean, you often hear people say when they win the Grand National it does change their life. Is that the way it feels to you? I don't think I've gone about things much differently. No, I haven't let it really as such. I'd be the last person to bring it up anyway if I was anywhere. So, but no, it was amazing even coming back for the homecoming. I hadn't really said it to anyone. Didn't want any homecoming as such, and I was shocked by the turnout that night when we came back to the Lord Bagnall. Grand National winners, as we know, have a lot in recent times struggled to really go on and build on what they did at Aintree. Many of them never taste those sort of highs again. How determined were you and confident perhaps that wouldn't happen to Noble Yeats? Well, I suppose we've such a different profile compared to the other national winners, and I suppose Paul and I set out with a plan, and the National is a different race nowadays. The jumping test isn't as stern as it used to be, so there was a definite reason why a novice should have a bit up their sleeve, hopefully be unexposed, and we were lucky enough that just things came together and it worked out. Let's talk about this season, Emmet. The Whaley Cohens and yourself decided to start him off at O'Toy in the autumn. That didn't go too well, but
How crucial was it that you had an experienced man on board, James Reevely, who had the good sense to pull him up after that bad early mistake?
Yeah, that's it. He made a bad mistake at the third, I think, and jumped one more. James wasn't happy and pulled him up straight away. But we had a horse to go to war with again afterwards, and I think it was only 2, maybe 3 weeks later, we were able to go to Wexford, and he showed his true colours down there, and it was none the worse for it.
Sean Bowen rode him for the first time that day. He's become his regular partner. Did you feel they really gelled straight away when they won at Wexford?
Yeah, no, it was beautiful to watch. It was a relaxing day in Wexford, really, watching Sean and him. They got on great together, and he jumped from fence to fence, so there was no worries on the day. After
that, it was back to Aintree, but over the park fences this time for the Many Clouds chase, and he really kicked in the turbo late on that day. Did you see maybe a different side to the horse than perhaps he'd shown you before?
To be honest, we saw that in his bumper in Thurles. He won an Irish bumper 19 lengths, and you don't do that with slow horses. They're so competitive, an Irish bumper. So we always knew he had a good turn of foot, and it had just been a while between drinks before we seen it again.
Whatever about the Grand National, I think a lot of people cottoned on to him after that as a potential horse for the Gold Cup, Ruby Walsh being one of them. I think he was on Ruby's radar even before he won the Many Clouds, wasn't he? But did that really cement it in your mind that it was well worth going to Cheltenham with him before heading back to Aintree? To be fair, we spoke with Robert, and the two of us had a plan at the start of the year that we were always going to try for the Gold Cup. I said it to him, it's the start of the year, we'll pick now whether we're going for a Gold Cup or a Grand National, and we said at the start of the season we'd go for the Gold Cup, and if he's all being well, there was 4 weeks between races, and there was no reason he couldn't go again for if he's good, which seems to be working out. And Emmet, what was your take on the run he produced at Cheltenham? Because at one stage he looked to be going nowhere, and then all of a sudden we saw that really strong finish from him once again that only just saw him out of the frame in the end. That's it. I suppose he was just down the inside in Cheltenham, and I don't think he was enjoying it much. And once he took himself out of the race, got a bit of light, he seemed to fly home then again. As we can see here, he looks to be in great form, and you've got a nice long turnaround between Cheltenham and Aintree this year. Now obviously it's a different build up to the race than he had last year. Have you had to change much around with him? No, it was very straightforward as well. He ran at Cheltenham last year. It was Sam's first riding him, and I suppose that was a good point for us. Sam got to ride him, and it was Sam who suggested putting on the cheek pieces. He said he was going nowhere in the 3 mile handicap chase on the Tuesday anyway. And, the ultimate, yeah. So he was going nowhere most of the way around. He says pulled out, got daylight, and he says he took off for a bit. So Sam and himself, we weren't too disappointed after that. And we were confident that the cheek pieces might just help tune him up and keep him engaged in the middle part of the race. Is he pretty much exactly where you want him to be as the big day limbs? That's it. If I had the last few weeks back again, I don't think there's anything I'd still like to change going forward. Everything's on track, thank God. He's got a 19 pound higher mark to defy this time round, Emmet. How confident can you be realistically that he is a 19 pound better horse going there this year? He's a better horse, but you can't be confident that he's 19 pounds better. So that's going to be a huge task, but we'll see. What Horses for Courses has to count for something, I think. I'm sure it will. Tell me, how do you feel about the opposition this year? Do you reckon it's shaping up to be a stronger race than last year, or maybe on par? To be honest, I haven't delved into it too deeply, but I'd say looking at just on past nationals, you come to that 11 stone marker and just look below it for the winner, I think, usually, isn't it? Win, lose or draw. Is Aintree likely to be his last run this season, or could he potentially head back to France, something like that afterwards? We won't rule anything in or out. And just finally, tell us about your own routine ahead of Aintree this year. Are you a superstitious person? Are you going to try and keep things pretty much the way they were 12 months ago? Yeah, if whatever I can remember, I'll try and react. But I suppose it's been a bit of a blur. So we'll just keep doing the simple things right, and hopefully something works out. Well, we wish you well over there. Certainly looking forward to seeing how this fella gets on.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.